Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Quincy Hawley.
And I'm Renee Machel.
And welcome to Vet Candy Life.
This show is brought to you by VetProCentral, a free veterinary recruiting service for job seekers. Visit VetProCentral.com for more info.
Okay, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects of all time, which is love, which is a huge part of an individual's well-being. And did you know that 52% of online daters are men versus 47%, which are actually women?
Oh, I didn't know that. No. My girlfriend, this was years ago. She met her husband through online dating, but years ago, there was so much stigma around it. They told people they met through friends. Now it's way more acceptable.
Exactly. I didn't even know people were actually doing that until I met a few people who were doing that. Like you see the different commercials or the different online dating projects. You're like, are people actually doing that? Because I never did.
They're having success too.
And that's
They're
surprising.
having success.
And that's surprising. Yeah.
I did read something. So I like to read the science of relationships.
Okay, tell me about the science.
Because, we don't have to go into the science in this episode because but I like it because, like you said, it ties back to our well-being. And for a long time, I don't know, maybe this is a veterinary professional thing. Who knows? Maybe it was just like me thinking, lone wolf. Sometimes I think people get into the habits of being alone and feeling like they have to go through their lives alone, and somehow we're better off alone. And so I had to really dig into research to sort of school myself in that the species, we really are pack animals.
So have
you
ever,
we thrive in our relationships.
So have you ever struggled with love yourself? Have you ever struggled?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell
Who
us about
hasn't?
that.
Have you not struggled?
Well,
in your relationship.
I do pretty well. I mean, we've had our challenges.
Ups and downs, right.
Like
Yes. Yes.
In terms of marriage, but in the actual dating game, I never really had a ton of struggles.
Yeah. No, I think the relationship navigation was more of the challenge.
Right. And you were dating while you were a veterinary professional, right? You were in the dating game.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, because I've been in the veterinary profession nearly as long, if not equally as long as I've been dating.
And see, for me,
yeah, that's super true, actually. Oh, that's a weird little thing to realize.
It is.
Yeah, I was 17 when I had my first serious boyfriend, and I was younger than that when I started working at the vet clinic. So I've been in vet profession longer than I've been actually dating.
Now, do you think it's more difficult to date as a veterinary professional as it would be if you were, I don't know, like a school teacher or something else like that?
Perhaps. I do know that I read, there's different states where, like in New York, 50% of the population is single. And in, say, Idaho, 60% of the population is married. So they're taken. So if you live in Idaho and you're single, it's kind of slim pickings compared
to. So it really depends on where you're living.
So I grew up in Michigan, and so as a veterinary professional, what I would say is that most other people being that young, they were still in jobs that were, they weren't really serious career people, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Is that you meet people and they're like, I'm working at my high school job, but like my high school job was my career, and I kind of knew that. So I feel like it just changed the landscape for me a little bit.
Yeah.
What about you? Because
yours
is different. You got lucky.
I've been in long distance relationships for a very long time. As a veterinary student, my wife and I went to different schools. She went to Tuskegee College of Veterinary Medicine, and I stayed in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And
and where did you guys meet?
So we met at North Carolina A&T in Greensboro, North Carolina. Yep.
Okay,
We were
so
both animal
pre-vet.
science majors there. We
okay.
dated for, I believe that last year, but we had a big decision to make. Like, is one of us going to like sacrifice our veterinary career to go be with the other person, or because we didn't get into the same schools?
Right, but you made it work.
We made it work. A
made it work
a
long
lot of
distance.
traveling, a lot of creativity.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing, if I could give like a little piece of advice, is that sometimes you've got to get creative
Resourceful.
when it comes to making your relationship work, because things are going to get sticky.
What's the most creative thing that you did? Think about it.
Go to my dad and ask for money so I could travel to Alabama to see her, like, every other month.
That's the most creative?
I mean, there were some other things where, we spice things up.
How did you guys communicate? Because this was this was
so,
like before Zoom.
So we would
right?
do Skype. Skype. We would literally do Skype all day long. We just leave it running.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like we lived together in the same room,
Yeah.
because she had her Skype going, I had my Skype going, and so we could just kind of check in with each other while we're studying and things of that nature. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it
like
worked.
that.
It worked. I mean, it's better than just the phone.
Yeah. I used to, be on the phone, right? So as a girl growing up back in the day, you were on the phone. I mean, I would paint my room.
Oh, the phone.
On the phone, all like 3 hours, 7 hours. You'd fall asleep with the phone.
And then your parents pick up.
No, I got lucky. I had my own phone line because I was a responsible individual.
That's fancy.
I had my own phone line.
Yeah,
I somehow sold that to them. They bought it, sold the idea. They were like, okay, Renee can do this,
Yeah,
And I think I might have paid for it myself, because I was working, at the vet clinic, those kennels.
I literally remember, like in high school, stand up all night to make those phone conversations work, things like that. Okay, so in veterinary medicine, we work long hours. That's one of the challenges of being a veterinarian, at least. It's like 12-hour days sometimes. How do you think that can affect an individual's relationship? And what advice do you have for someone who may be going through something like that, where it's like they just don't have time for their significant other? People ask me this all the time. So.
Awareness is the number one thing. If you're not aware, years will go by and you'll get to a point where you look and go, how did we get here?
Wow.
But if you are aware of it,
right,
you can look at each other, be honest with yourself, and say, this isn't working.
Right.
It's time we shift.
Right.
How do we shift? Because once you recognize what the question is, there's a saying I have on my wall. It says, want better It says, want better answers? Ask better questions.
Yes.
So once you're aware of the problem, you start to ask the right questions, and then you start to find the solutions. You get creative.
Yeah, and I think another big thing is making sure that you're not shaming yourself or your spouse or the relationship as a whole because you're going through a challenge.
Yeah.
Challenges are temporary. If you're following the self-awareness, if you're doing the work, I think we've talked about that before. That you can really make these things work.
Yes.
You can make it work.
Yes. Don't compare yourself to someone else, right? If you live next door to two librarians who work 8 to 5 and they're at home and they have this entire routine and they're jogging and doing their little nightly walks, maybe that doesn't look the same for two veterinary professionals who happen to find an hour on Sunday in between things to do Netflix and chill, or they do something else like they cook together, cook breakfast, something like that.
And I believe that Hollywood has played a major role in people thinking they're supposed to have some, I was going to say Jack and Jill, Romeo and Juliet, like perfect relationship where it's like really, really, really romantic
or funny.
It's just not like
or
that.
Funny.
Oftentimes it can be,
Yeah.
but oftentimes it's not. I mean, yeah.
I'm a big one for sitcoms, so I love sitcoms. I think that laughter is the best medicine, and so.
What's your favorite relationship movie?
Ooh, favorite relationship
like romantic,
movie?
I guess.
Hilarious. Their hilarious movie is called The Newlyweds. It's an older movie. It has Ashton Kutcher and Brittany Murphy in it.
Oh, it's got to be funny. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah,
That's a very funny relationship movie. I watched that one so many times.
You know what my favorite relationship movie was for the longest time?
What?
The Breakup.
Okay.
The Breakup with Jennifer Aniston and the dude.
Vince
He's funny
Vaughn.
too. Yeah, Vince Vaughn. But I would watch that movie over and over again as if I was trying to break up or something. But I think the message was that if you don't get it together, you will end up like in separate relationships.
Here's the thing. There is a recipe for a cake and there is a recipe for, let's say, meatloaf. If you put the contents for a cake in a crock pot, you are not going to come out with a meatloaf.
There's a recipe for cake and there's a recipe for cat poop.
Oh my God.
Because if you don't get it right, then that's what y'all gonna be looking at. And if y'all already have kids and a shared home, shared pets and everything else, that is cat poop if y'all have to tear that apart. Like it's not meat, because meatloaf can be good.
Yeah. Meatloaf can be good. But I'm just saying that if you put the contents, the ingredients, right? So flour and sugar is not going to get you a meatloaf. So you figure out the formula that you need, the ingredients for your relationship, and then you'll have a good relationship.
And you'll get a certain quality of relationship. You put it in meatloaf ingredients, you get meatloaf. You put in cat poop or cake, whatever happens to be,
whatever it is,
and you get that result.
We're cooking some weird stuff in this kitchen. We've got entrees, desserts, but you get what we're saying, is that if you go about your relationship in a certain way, I talk to you meanly, even in a working relationship.
And we talk about this all the time with well-being, that if you're putting in the work to be well and not be burnt out, you have a greater chance at living that quality of life than an individual who in the same circumstances, conditions, and life events doesn't do that stuff. So a couple who's going to marriage counseling and doing retreats and reading books and all these other things and actually spending that time.
That reminds me.
What?
The wedding date. Is it the wedding date? He says every woman has the exact love life that she wants. And Deborah Messing, I think it is, she's like, what? She was totally offended because she was single at the time. And he said, you have the life that you want.
That's
exactly right. So if you are single and you want a relationship, then you have to create the space in your life to have a relationship.
Somebody else said,
if you're looking for a job and you don't put out an interview, how can you ever expect, right? So
I was just reading that the other day that the results that you are achieving are a sign or are symbolic of your commitment to whatever it is. So if you have crappy relationship results, then your commitment to that relationship may be crappy in and of itself. But the good news is, and this is why we love doing Vet Candy Life, is that at any time you can make a change and improve things.
Looking for your dream job? We can help. For this one, you must love cats. Do you dream of working in a feline exclusive practice that values patient care over production demand? Then look no further than this certified cat-friendly practice in Santa Clarita, California. Santa Clarita is a suburb of Los Angeles that is known as a hub for cycling enthusiasts and a hiker's paradise. It is just a short drive away from beautiful California beaches. This job features a superior salary and benefit package, a generous signing bonus, mentorship opportunities, plus an amazing team. Want to learn more about this dream job or learn about other opportunities? Check out VetProCentral.com for more information. We are in the dream job finding business.
Hey everyone, we are here today back with Dr. Hawley and Dr. Hawley. So Dr. Quincy Hawley and Dr. Tierra Hawley, she is our guest. She's joining us for this game. We're gonna play a game. It's gonna be really fun. We're gonna do perception versus reality. And so I'm gonna ask questions and you guys are gonna answer them. I'm gonna say something like, who feeds the dogs more? And you're going to point to yourself or point to your spouse. Because these guys are married not only to VetMed, but they're married to each other. And they've been married for how long?
7 years.
Who's more likely to forget?
Since 2013. I can give you the date. I can't do the math,
Okay.
So, yeah, it's all good.
Math is hard. Okay. We know the struggle of math.
Yeah.
Like if we
Sincerely,
would be
yeah.
lost without calculators,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Is that
Let's do it.
okay,
I'm
you guys?
excited. I'm excited. I don't know what to expect, but
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
gonna be fun.
All
Expect
right.
fun.
Okay.
It's gonna be fun.
It's
Very
gonna be
fun.
fun. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so who's more likely to change diapers?
Definitely me.
No, it's not.
I'm pretty sure it's me.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I do it at night, in the morning, and it seems like throughout the day.
It's about even. Let's go with 50-50.
You went 50-50?
Let's go 50-50.
I'll settle for that. I'll settle 50-50.
Who's more
But it's
like-
definitely not her over me. It's got to at least be even.
Okay.
That's
Do you believe
Okay.
this?
That's as best I can do.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's more likely to feed the dogs?
Definitely him.
It's
Who's more
definitely
likely
me.
to feed the bird? Okay. What about the birds, plural? Because they've got chickens, y'all.
All of them. All
Yeah.
the birds.
But- but you know, but
so
I
dogs
actually-
are you. What about so the other animals are T?
I volunteered against feeding anything except for the dogs. I'm already feeding, 6 now?
Okay.
Yes, two uninvited guests, by
Who's
the way.
more likely to bring in more animals?
That one.
What? You just brought in a cat. You just brought in a cat that I didn't ask for.
So let's look at.
Along with the 3 chickens, okay? 3 chickens.
So let's
Look-
look.
Go
I think
ahead.
the chickens were like a joint thing. We both
Yes.
agreed to the chickens. But let's look at the number of pets that I have brought in versus him.
Okay.
It's definitely him.
You want to count them up?
How many
We
pets?
count them up.
Let's count. Let's count, guys.
Okay.
How many pets do you guys have in total?
So in total,
So-
we have 3 chickens,
Mm-hmm.
6 dogs. We just lost one. Rest in peace to Hershey.
Yeah.
And then let's see. We have the one. What kind of bird is that?
A blue crown conure
A blue crowned conure.
and the cat, a little kitten.
Okay.
Little kitten. Yes. Named
So we have
Cat.
11 animals.
Yes.
How many of them did Quincy bring in?
So we got of the 6 dogs.
Luna.
Luna. Bubba's both. Bubba's both. Luna is the only one that I brought in, by myself. And
Nope, Smokey.
Okay, definitely Smokey too.
And then, well, if we start counting
I
the
forget
old
about
ones.
No,
yeah.
look, no.
Okay.
Just gonna go with
So the
Smokey
current
and
ones,
Luna.
okay,
So
Smokey
2.
and Luna, yes.
And they weigh the most, so maybe that counts a little extra, but.
They're the biggest of the group, yes.
And then the chickens were joint.
They're joint.
That is
yes.
a total lie. It's a complete lie.
Okay. All right. So who's the best cook then? Like
Okay.
if we shift gears.
That's definitely me. In terms of real food, not microwave food.
Yeah. Who can cook? Who can prepare a meal?
Yes.
Her sister. No, I'm just kidding. No, literally, her sister does come down
Okay.
and
She
cook,
does
and
come
she's really
sometimes.
good.
Oh, she did.
Yeah,
My sister's
yeah,
a very
yeah.
good cook.
We
What
both
about-
we both don't cook, so that's
Okay.
we're tied.
What
We
about
both suck.
homeschooling? Who's the better homeschooler? Who's the better teacher?
How do you define homeschooling? Is it by the teacher's opinion, Cadence's opinion, or a third thing?
Who facilitates the learning of your adolescent children or your young children, your
gonna
young
say-
humans?
So for the most effective learning, I would say that's definitely me. Yes. He does a good job watching them and
I just sit in my office.
Yeah, that's what he does.
What did you tell me
So-
earlier, Quincy?
What? I just throw the
About
cat
the
in the room. But she loves the cat. She focuses better when the cat's in the room learning with her.
Or she's playing with the cat.
Okay.
And he's in the office. So I think
But it's okay.
That's-
The teachers haven't complained.
Who
so
do the
it's
kids
okay.
want then? Who do the kids want that? Like, who do they want to be put to bed by? Who do they want to tuck them in?
yeah.
Okay,
Definitely.
mama.
It
Yeah.
switches, of course, but
Okay.
the majority is definitely.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Yep. Who says I love you more?
Me.
It's even. No, it's definitely
Is it even?
it's definitely even. It's definitely even.
gosh.
Like it's always like I love you, we both do. Like
okay,
equally.
but she means who leads.
No,
because
probably
obviously you
me.
would say it
No,
back.
that's probably me. I probably lead more. Just be real. Let's just be honest here.
See, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Perception
Real?
versus
Are we talking about
reality.
real?
Let's be honest here. Yes.
Do you have a fake life that we don't know about? Like a Sims life, going
Stop,
on?
man. Stop. Okay. No.
Okay, who is more likely to fix something in the house?
It's her, but there's a reason for that. I'm better at doing other things, and so I want her to have something too. And so I allow her to fix the things that are broken, and
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
I've offered to pay before, but she
just-
won't take the money.
I'm just a tad better, more effective at fixing things.
Yeah,
than he
yeah.
is.
Who's
so.
more likely
Like
to
Mark
clean?
Cuban says, know what you're good at, know what you suck at,
Yeah.
and so
There
I
we
suck
go.
at putting things together.
What about cleaning? Who likes to? Who's like more effective with cleaning?
Probably him.
Absolutely me.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Definitely me.
No,
Definitely
no
him.
problem.
Sorry.
Absolutely.
What about who's more likely to cry at a movie?
Neither. We're not
Neither,
emotional like
yeah.
that,
Oh,
honestly.
neither. Really,
Neither
I'm
of
like
us.
waterworks.
No.
You know? Oh yeah.
I can see that for you,
Yeah,
man. 'cause
I
Yeah.
cried during a documentary the other day, and Neil was just like, he didn't understand at all. I was like, it's so inspiring.
Yeah.
And in some of our talks recently, especially since Gavin, like you're just, everything just like.
Yeah. I can feel the emotion and maybe get a little like watery, but I never really
You know what?
cry.
I watched a Disney movie the other day. This is maybe like a few months ago. Okay, that's the other day for me. And I literally teared up. Do you remember the name of that
What
movie? A girl drowned. And it just cracked me. It just broke me up. It just broke me up. Yeah. So I will cry. I will.
Okay.
But it's just
I can't
not.
remember that movie.
It's just not
Yeah.
often.
Who's more likely to watch like a really popular show like Game of Thrones?
Probably me.
Absolutely her,
Yeah.
but she will usually suck me in. She'll bring me into it like 2 years later. She'll double watch the season.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
watch it about 3 or 4 times, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
And right now
honestly.
she's watching anime.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a bunch of different things.
Inuyasha?
I started
Inuyasha.
watching that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
she's-
throwback
Okay.
from like the 90s.
Who's
Yeah.
more likely to be spontaneous?
Me. Yes.
Okay.
I want to do the same thing. I want to wear the same pants, not the same pair, but
Steve
the same
Jobs.
style. Yes,
Yep.
I want to
Steve
Steve
Jobs,
Jobs
yes.
it up.
Yeah.
I have to change things up all the time. Like there has to be some variety.
But one time we were on our honeymoon in Cancun, and we were on a sailboat that was going really fast, and it was a rope. Okay, and they were like, you can hang on to the rope, and we'll just pull you through the water way out in the middle of the ocean. Okay, and I have my life jacket on. She doesn't have a life vest on. And she gets off on this rope and it's just hanging on. And I'm thinking to myself, my wife's about to die.
I
And
can
I'm not
swim
jumping
really
off to
well.
go get you.
So you're more adventurous.
I'm very adventurous. Like I can
Okay.
swim really well. I wasn't concerned about myself.
And she hurt her hip doing,
That, water skiing.
yeah,
Yes.
see?
Okay.
You do
But
too much.
But I would do it again. Also.
You do too much. You do too much.
Oh my goodness. Well,
What
this
else?
has
What else?
been-
What else do you have for us? Anything else?
Those were my list. That was my like main list.
Okay.
Just like yeah.
I got
You know
you.
that's the
I
big
got
stuff,
you.
right?
Yeah. So I think like the moral of the story is that we're a great couple because we do things together.
Yeah.
I'm better at some things. She's better at a few others.
Let
you
me
know?
okay. One last question. Who's more likely to research to like forward propel your relationship? Because you guys are both focused on well-being, and I know you both research, different things that come up in life. But is there one that researches more?
I think we both do it. Like if there is an issue like that might come about, I think we're both inclined to like try to look for
Yeah.
a good solution.
Right,
Yeah, we're both do that.
Like we'll pick a book and say, okay, every night before going to bed, we'll read a little bit of this marriage book. We've been through the 5 love languages, and we even did a marriage retreat at Delray Beach. That was really cool.
It was amazing.
What was it
yeah.
called?
It
Couple
was.
something.
It was.
I forgot what it was called, but it was good.
Yeah, I can't
It was
remember.
good.
Yeah.
It was
Cool.
good. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. This has been a really great game. I like it. It's very fun.
Yeah. Thanks.
You need to do you and Neil next.
Bring him in.
Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been a really fun time. Thank you, Dr. Hawley, for joining us, Dr. Hawley and myself, in this episode, this segment that we're playing this game. It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's some great stuff. I like it because there's a lot of, there's 40% of Americans that are online dating right now. 40%. So if you're one of those, you can change it up. You can change up your approach.
That's right.
Yeah.
And now we're about to bring in Leigh D'Angelo, the co-founder of digdates.com, which is a dating site for dog lovers because not everyone is down with dogs sleeping in the bed.
This is my favorite story. So my sister is actually my co-founder, my sister Casey, and she was dating a guy up in New York who tried to be a dog person for her. But by the end of the relationship, he didn't want the dog in his apartment, or he'd put towels and blankets down on the couch so the dog didn't touch anything. And dogs. She has a Cavapoo. This is a Cavalier Spaniel Poodle mix. It most closely resembles a teddy bear, right? Like if you're not a dog person, most people still like this dog. And he couldn't incorporate it into his life. And it was affecting so much of her life and their relationship. We were able to create the beautiful app, and we knew we'd be able to get the word out about it and really focus on the dog community and what dog people are really looking for. When we first launched the dating app, most dating apps really cater to kind of 18 to 25. But as soon as we launched, we found that our highest demographic by far is much closer to 30, 35, 40. It's people who really understand themselves, understand the type of life they want and who they're really looking for. And it also most closely matches with when you're getting your first dog and you have a little bit more time or maybe a little bit more income to spend it on someone besides yourself, right? And one thing I do want to point out, you don't have to have a dog to be on Dig. About a third of our users don't have a dog yet. They're looking to date someone with a dog or get a dog with someone in the future. I don't want this to feel like I'm trying to beat an algorithm. I want to actually see people. And not only do we slow you down from not swiping, but there's a ton of dog photos on there. So you're going to want to stop and learn a little bit more about that person.
That was some really great information.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
I didn't even know it existed. So, that's amazing. If things go awry, I kid. No, dog lovers. I mean, as veterinary professionals, finding another person who loves your animals, I mean, that was like a vetting system for my household.
Yes.
That, as a human, if you came in as someone that I dated, you had to be okay with the animals that I had living with me at the time, because most of the time they take precedence. And so I think that's a fantastic idea. I love it.
I love it as well.
So we talked about a lot in this episode. We talked about the long distance relationship, the online landscape, some options for online dating, and the recipes that you might need to have a really great, stellar relationship, right?
Yes, yes.
So we want to hear from you guys. Share your experience with us, what it's like out there, whether you're dating, in a relationship. If you have questions, generate some comments below. Follow us at MyVetCandy. And we'll see you guys back for more. This was just another episode of Vet Candy Life.